Welcome to LO Force. The topic today I want to discuss is negative thoughts. And many loan officers always come to me, Sam, I don't know, during the day I get negative thoughts, the deals go sideways, I don't know, what to do. It just kind of takes me into a state where I don't really feel like working. I'm not very enthusiastic. I'm just seeing what's bad and everything. So those negative thoughts can really hurt somebody. So the 3 points that I want to make on negative thoughts is the first step is going to be awareness. The second step is we got to interrupt that pattern. And the third step that's most important is that we got to replace it with some positive thoughts. So the first part is awareness. So we always have to have awareness, and awareness of negative thoughts is very important because you got to understand why those negative thoughts happen. So we all know that two things guide us as human beings. It's fear and faith. And as you know, fear is a negative imagination of tomorrow and faith is a positive imagination of tomorrow. So when most people have negative thoughts, it's usually out of fear. A fear of not being liked, fear of not being loved, fear of something, a deal gets rejected. You're like, how am I going to tell that to a realtor? So a lot of things come into your mind. But when you have negative thoughts, you're not performing at your best. So first step is creating that awareness and realizing that there's one person that you have to be the biggest fan of. That's yourself. See, society doesn't let us do that, because if you were the biggest fan of yourself, you're like, I am the best. I am great. Well, the challenge with that is that most people are like, oh my God, that person's conceited. So many people don't like being their biggest fan. You have to be. See, you're one person that you got to have true love for yourself, because true love definition is unconditional love. And I'm sorry to say, unless you're, for your parents, your kids, your dog, you might have that unconditional love. But relationships, you're not going to have unconditional love. It's going to be love with conditions. But for yourself, you have to have true love. So if you have true love for yourself, unconditional love, then you're not so concerned with the outcome every single time. You're more concerned with the process. And so you create awareness on those negative thoughts that kind of stop you from being your best. And the second step is you got to interrupt that pattern when those negative thoughts are happening. Now, if I told everybody that's watching this right now that I can eliminate every single thought in your head except one, how many of you would believe me? Most of you would not. So if you do this exercise, you'll see what I'm talking about. If I tell everybody right now to hold your breath long as you can, there'll be a split second, split moment that every single thought in your head will disappear except I need to breathe. That's a pattern interrupt. You can utilize that as a pattern interrupt. Imagine every single thought in your head disappears except I need to breathe. Okay? So creating that awareness and doing a pattern interrupt. So what's the easiest way to do the pattern interrupt? I know many of you don't want to just hold your breath and say that's a pattern interrupt. What's the quickest way to do it? Another strategy that you can use is having a rubber band on your wrist. And anytime you have a negative thought that comes into your mind, pull back the rubber band and snap it. Now what happens is the brain consciously focuses on the pain on the wrist. Now you're consciously aware that you need to focus on something positive. That creates a pattern interruption on that negative thought. And the third step, the most important, is replacing that negative thought with a positive thought. Okay? So what you could say is you're like, oh my God, I can't believe the market's terrible. I'm not going to do a lot of business. You can replace that and say, look, people that want to live the American dream of having home ownership will have that even if the rates go a little bit higher. You're still going to be able to do business. So whatever that negative thought is, you need to replace it with an empowering thought. Have a powerful day. I look forward to talking to you soon.